All right, good morning. Can't find my little magnet for the microphone, so I'm just gonna hold it. Hopefully the audio comes through okay. Excuse me. It's 4:20 on my way down to do a doe hunt right now. However, I have come to the realization that self-filming hunts is just not my thing. I work and live in a very fast-paced, very chaotic, very technology-driven lifestyle, and I've come to realize that when I hunt, it's for the purpose of hunting, for the solitude, for the quiet, for the peace, clearing my head, in addition to obviously harvesting and taking an animal. So I've decided that that's not for me. That said, what I am going to do and what I did when I got my buck on opening day is use my GoPro. It is mounted on my stabilizer. I'm still going to film content. I'm still going to share the stories, which is exactly what I'm going to do here in a second. And just do it in a more of a traditional way, honestly. I think that's where I think that's what I want to do moving forward is share the work I do on our property to improve the habitat every year, and expand food plots and all that kind of stuff, but also share my hunts in more of a traditional story format. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think it's going to be different. There's a lot of amazing channels. I mean, thousands of amazing hunting channels out there. And while I don't enjoy the self-filming component of it, I think that I can still successfully and adequately share hunting stories in this format. So, that said, I want to dive into killing a buck that I named Emo, which I've gotten some chuckles out of. So I will share some videos towards the end of this of me actually taking the shot on the buck, videos of him bedded down, but I want to start with how I named him Emo. I do not name every shooter buck at all, but if a name comes to mind when I look at a buck, immediately I run with it. So this is a 4-year-old buck. He is very tall, dwarfs most of the other bucks that I've seen him on video with as far as size and height goes, but he had the narrowest rack I have ever seen on a mature deer. Excuse me, drink my coffee. The reason I named him Emo was he had this very kind of like lopsided, super narrow rack, and when I first looked at him, I go, kind of looks like an emo kid's mohawk. And then I went, Emo, I'm gonna name him Emo. Just a little humor behind it, and when you see the videos later on, you'll understand what I mean by that, because I don't know about everybody who's gonna watch this, and probably not a lot of people, but I grew up in I was born in 1990, grew up in the 90s, early 2000s. I'm a metalhead, so it looks like an emo kid's mohawk. It immediately popped into my head when I saw his rack. I have had this buck on camera all summer, very frequently. I've got hundreds of pictures and videos of him. He never changed his territory, which was surprising. And so that morning, this is October 1st, my buddy Levi came all the way out from, he's out now by Albany. So he drove damn near 3.5 hours. He might have to correct me on that, but somewhere in that ballpark. Came all the way down to the farm the night before. We cooked steaks, we hung out, watched a movie. The first true deer camp experience I have ever had. I grew up in a family full of hunters, but I never hunted as a kid. I went on a couple hunts, but at the time, I was sucked into sports, big time. I thought I was going to be the next Michael Jordan or the next, Ronaldo, whatever. So I never really got into hunting. For those of you who don't know, I did not start hunting until I was 28 or 29 years old. I did not start bow hunting until I was 30. Funny story, I bought a PSE, what's it called? Uprising, I think it's called, for $500 bow at a Bass Pro Shops in North Carolina when we were down at Myrtle Beach on vacation. We went to like this massive Bass Pro down there, and I looked at my wife, and I'd been shooting a trad bow for a little bit, like dabbling with some archery. I was like, hey, can I buy that bow? Had no idea what I was doing. Come to find out, it was not even remotely close to being an appropriate size bow for somebody my size. But it was a starter bow, and I got hooked immediately. I fell in love with it. I started bow hunting that year, and I've been obsessed ever since. I actually do not hunt with a firearm anymore. Not because I want to be, the badass bow hunting guy. No, I fell in love with archery hunting. I went down that rabbit hole so freaking hard. I don't know if I'll ever come back out. I'm extremely passionate about it. I really enjoy it. I have learned so much about hunting and deer and movement and tactics and all of that in the past, handful of years. It's been amazing. It's been such a cool journey. So anyways, pardon my ADHD. So Levi and I went down the night before opening day, hung out, did the guy thing. It was really awesome. We took our camper down there. So I had that set up and ready ahead of time. And, opening morning, I'm very, very strategic. I am also a veteran. I am not a war veteran. I did not see combat. I do not want to make it out to be more than it is, because I was an Air Force medic for surgical tech for 4 years. I am not G.I. Joe by any sense of the imagination. However, one thing I learned is attention to detail and strategy. So I'm very strategic when I go to hunt. And I told Levi, hey, let's go to this spot. Let's spread out about 100-ish yards. And one of us is going to be on a buck, if not both. Well, sure enough, 7 a.m., huge, wide 10-pointer comes up exactly how I had called it. I mean, literally to the T. The only reason I did not get him is because he busted me when I was drawing back. He came in, he was at 18 yards, maybe less, when I started to draw. And the second I drew back, he came in, unfortunately, on the one part of my setup that did not have cover. Of course, but, I started to draw back on him. He was perfectly broadside at, 16, 18 yards, and he busted me about halfway through my draw. So, he took off. Excuse me. We stayed in that spot till about 10 a.m. Goodness, sorry. We stayed in that spot till about 10 a.m. We both underdressed, so it was much colder than we had anticipated. Got down, went back to the camper, sat in the sun and warmed up a little bit, ate some food, and then, we dove right back into the woods. We were back fully set up, I think, by 12 o'clock. So we took a short break, totally switched locations. But again, thinking strategically, with the wind in our favor, we got into a spot that I felt very confidently that we would not just be on deer in general, but that we would specifically be on bucks. That was the goal. The dream was for Levi and I to both get opening day bucks. So we get into this spot. Our property, by the way, not to go into too much detail because I don't want anybody freaking internet stalking us, but our property is split up by two roads, one of which is a paved road. The other one is more of a seasonal dirt road. But either way, our property is kind of almost perfectly split into three different sectors. So we hunted, we'll say, the south sector in the morning, and then we hunted the east sector in the afternoon. So we get into this spot, me being the ADHD and OCD guy that I am, Levi probably got a chuckle. I paced back and forth across the 50-yard span for probably 10 minutes trying to pick which damn tree I was going to get in. I could not make up my mind. I'm not really sure why this person just changed lanes in front of me. There's nobody on the road. Anyways, so I finally pick a tree. Pretty much, like 5 yards off of this scrape that gets hammered on a daily basis. So I hop up in this tree. Levi's maybe 50 yards, probably less to my right. So we're within eyesight of each other. And we're on a logging trail with a ton of bedding right in front of us. Super, super thick stuff. I know bucks have bedded in there. I've watched them get up and walk in the past and just never quite panned out for me. But I was like, hey, I cleared this trail in the off season, and it leads directly to what I call food plot 2 or turkey foot, whatever. If you've watched any of my food plot videos, it's the food plot turkey foot. So this trail is 60 to 80 yards off the bottom end of that food plot, and it leads right to it. And the wind's going to be in their favor, but we're on the upside of that, whereas the wind is still in our favor as well. So we get into this spot, and about 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30, I saw what I thought, and turned out to be correct, was a tail flick about 35 yards in front of me. So I'm immediately, binos up, I'm on it. And Levi is on kind of the other side of this opening in the brush, so he cannot see what I can see. So I get my binos up, and almost immediately I start losing my freaking mind, because I'm looking at not 1, not 2, but 5 deer. There were 2 bucks and 3 does, one of which I'm pretty sure was either a fawn or a yearling. It was small. But either way, I see, this emo buck, and then I saw what appeared to be a wide 8, possibly a 10, that were all bedded down in this like super thick brush. But I mean literally 35 yards. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, we've got good wind, we've got good temperatures. If they get up and move during the day, like, we're going to be right on them. Boy, was I wrong on the midday movement. We sat there for over 5 hours with them bedded right in front of us. They got up 3 different times, stretched, hit a scrape right there in the bedding. I will say, however, despite it being the most painful 5 hours of my life, it was amazing intel and just an awesome thing to watch. To watch a buck in person, get up that close, watching them through the binos, absolutely destroy a scrape and rub a tree. Like he was just trying to rip it out of the ground, and then just lay right back down. And I'm talking full legs stretched out on the side, head down. This thing he was zonked out. So regardless, he's there for over 5 hours. I'm watching him. I'm texting Levi every time they get up, every time they move, confirming they're still there. The does had gotten up and kind of shifted a little bit out of sight, so I could still see one, but they were still in the same pocket of brush. Oh my God, sorry. So, then about, I think it was around 6 o'clock. Yeah, it would have been right around 6 o'clock. They get up. Now it's, sun's kind of on the other side of the hill. But we still have like an hour plus of daylight left. Almost as soon as the sun goes down on the other side, you start to feel the temperature drop, and they get up. So I text Levi right away. I'm like, they're up, they're moving. Well, then I start getting really bummed because I see everything go towards Levi's side. Like, they're going to come up on the trail. They're going to be right in front of him. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. I just watched these deer for 5 hours and they're going to walk out the other way. Like, you got to be kidding me. And So I'm like, I'm immediately defeated. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I just kind of slumped into my saddle, and I'm like, saying every cuss word you can imagine in my head. I'm like, this sucks. And now I'm like, all right, well, I'll just watch Levi because they're going to come up right in front of him. And I was like, he undoubtedly is going to get a shot on something. So give me 2 seconds here. So sure enough, does pop up first, which is to be expected. Usually the mature bucks will let something lead the way and flush out any hunters. Does pop up, and I know where Levi's 2 shooting lanes are, and I know they're about to cross through one, and one's a big doe. I mean, absolutely a doe that any hunter in their right mind would take. Plenty of meat, beautiful doe. Then I'm kind of I'm trying to keep the tree between me and the does, because the does have a perfect line of sight to me in my tree. And I'm like, okay, I don't want them to bust me while he's trying to get a shot off. But then I'm facing, we'll say the steering wheel is my tree. Levi's off to my right. I'm kind of turned on the back side of the tree so that I'm out of the line of sight. But then out of the left corner of my eye, down in the direction that the bedding area was, I see a tree start doing this. And I'm like, what the hell? So I pull my binos back up. Sure enough, inside of 20 yards on the other side of a brush line, that buck, Emo, is absolutely destroying a tree again. I immediately pop back behind the tree so that the tree's between me and Emo. And I start texting Levi. And I'm like, hey man, I need you to pass the does. I don't remember exactly what I texted him, but I basically said, I need you to pass the does. This buck's coming up. And now the does, there's two or three. There are 2 on the trail. Look, I mean, literally open view of me. There's nothing between us. And then come to find out, doe number 3 was in the brush just off the trail. We didn't know that till after the fact. Oh, I got bucks on a food plot right now. Or not bucks, sorry, deer on a food plot. I don't know if they're bucks or not yet. So he probably very reluctantly said, okay. And now I'm like, okay, this buck I'm going to have seconds to shoot this buck when it hits this opening in the brush. And I'm talking like Tom Brady in his prime, threading the needle. I've got a 1.5 foot gap that I'm going to be able to shoot this buck in, and he's going to be at about 12 yards. Mind you, we have now been in a tree for like 13 hours. Fatigue is absolutely a factor in this. I'm not a sponsored hunter, so I'm not trying to shout out, but I love my bow. I shoot a 34-inch Hoyt VTM. It is an 80-pound bow. And man, I did not factor in fatigue, plus adrenaline, buck fever, whatever you want to call it. So this buck starts stepping in the opening. Now the doe, the big doe that I was talking about, is now stomping. She sees me moving. She's pinned me. She's looking straight at me. I made eye contact with her. She's stomping up a storm. And I'm like, pardon my language, but shit. Like, this thing's gonna bust this buck out of here. So I start drawing back, and I am shaking like a crackhead in withdrawals. It looks like there's an earthquake going on in the GoPro video. I honestly, I almost couldn't get the bow back. I almost couldn't get to full draw. I finally get past the let off. I get it back, and I'm like, okay. Sorry, I got to keep the mic in place. I'm like, okay, I get it drawn back. I'm coming down, getting on him. And unfortunately, in the GoPro video, I had set the GoPro mounted towards the back, like closer to the bow than the end of the stabilizer. And I'd run a 12-inch stabilizer on the front. So unfortunately, you can't see the buck until like right before I shoot. I have since changed the GoPro location on the stabilizer. But either way, I get on him, and he's now fully perked up. He's staring right at that doe. I can hear her stomping, and I'm like, gotta get the shot. Well, when she stopped, he actually picked his head straight up, but he turned, so he was actually quartering away just a little bit. So I shot pretty much at the back of his rib cage, and he did a little bit of a donkey kick, not much. And in my mind, in the moment, he did a 180 and went straight down the hill. And turns out, after watching the video, he actually did like a J hook and then went down the hill. And I'm freaking out. Everybody's seen the video of Luke Bryan where he's like, did he go down? Did he go down? Is he down? That was pretty much me. I'm fist pumping. I'm losing my freaking mind. And mind you, the does have now blown and busted out of there. Between the shot and me losing my freaking mind, they've taken off. And I'm sub 10 seconds, I hear the crash from my shot. I'm talking shot less than 10 seconds, and I watched the video, I counted the seconds. It's like 10 seconds on the money, maybe a little bit less, and you hear crash. And about 20 seconds after that, I hear, coming from the medical field, we refer to it as a death gurgle. But it's like when your lungs are filling with blood, you make this like gurgling sound. About 30 seconds in, I heard two of those, and then it went quiet. Now, I saw where he went down, but after he went down, I lost sight of him because it was super thick brush. But I pretty much knew right where he was. So my phone was about to die. I'm texting Levi like, hey, I'm going to pack up. I'm going to get down. I want to get my phone charged. I'm texting everybody as fast as I can, but I'm like sub 5% on my battery life. Again, I'm losing. I'm shaking like crazy. I looked like I was having a seizure up there. Like it was the buck fever and the adrenaline rush after was insane. And so I started packing up. We've still got daylight, so I'm like, all right, I want to find my arrow, find him while I still got daylight. Then we'll go get the four-wheeler and get him out of here. So get down, I pack up, get down. I'm one stick. Again, if you've watched my other videos, you know that. But if you haven't, I do one stick. So I rappel down. I pack up on the ground. I took a quick video on the GoPro. Again, that's going to follow this. I went and found my arrow. I did not realize that the arrow I was shooting did not have a lighted knock on it. So it took me a minute to find it. And found my arrow. And honestly, I didn't even look for the blood trail. I walked straight down because I knew where he went down. I obviously found blood on the way, but I knew where he was laying, so it was the easiest track job ever, which doesn't normally happen. I walked down, I found him, and I'm just like, it wasn't, the rack is unique. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to shoot him. Is he a 200-inch deer? No, absolutely not. Am I in a situation where I'm ready to wait for a 200-inch deer? Absolutely not. If it gets me that pumped up, I'm taking the shot all day long. I am not at that point yet where I'm holding out for a world-class deer. I am shooting something that gets my heart racing, and Emo was super cool, super unique. I love the way he looked. I told Levi and a couple other buddies when I got pictures of him over the summer that I wanted to take that deer. So I am now, 40 to 50 yards downhill of this ATV trail. And man, Emo was heavy. I field dressed him and weighed him. After field dressing, he was pretty much 180 on the dot. Estimating he was somewhere around 210 live weight, maybe 215. I don't know exactly how much weight comes out when you field dress them, but I would imagine somewhere in that 30-pound range, 35 pounds. And ended up leaving him pretty much where he was at. I mean, it was, it's thick stuff, so dragging him by myself through there was not going to be fun or easy. So I was like, all right, let's go get the four-wheeler, have Levi help me get him up to the ATV trail. And even with one of us on each antler, he was still not a fun drag just to get to the ATV trail. And we're fortunate to have that. Can't imagine dragging him much further than that. But, we got him out of there, and I have done Euros in the past myself. I don't like let me correct that. Not that I don't like. I really love the Euro mount look. It has always been my thing. I've always found that to look really badass. So my 10-pointer from 2 years ago that I shot, and now this buck, I got both Euro mounted. In transparency, those are my 2 bucks so far. I shot a different buck last year that would have been the biggest buck in my lifetime. Sadly and unfortunately, I hit him way lower than I had expected. I thought he was at 15 to 20 yards. Turns out he was more at 25 to 30. I hit him low and caught muscle. But that's part of bow hunting, unfortunately. A buck I named Schizo. He was a 17-point deer. Just a crazy looking buck. I could still knowing how heavy Emo was, I would say Schizo was probably somewhere around 240, 250. He was a big bodied buck. But either way, got Emo out of there, found a guy that could do the Euro for me. The only reason I didn't do it myself this time was it happened to be the weekend of my son's birthday. We had literally 2 birthday parties for him. One for family, one for friends, and baseball on top of that, and a soccer game. We had soccer Friday, birthday party Saturday, birthday party Sunday, and baseball game Sunday. I knew I was not going to have time for it. I also didn't want to put my wife in a situation where she had to look at a deer head in the freezer for 2 weeks. So I sent him off to this guy, lives about 30 minutes from me. He did a freaking awesome job. He's finishing up the plaque for me. He did like a rustic broadhead style plaque, so can't wait to get that back. Unfortunately, he dropped his one of his, I think he said it was his router, and snapped the bit that he uses to make those. So he's waiting on a new bit to come in. But yeah, super happy with him. Just again, a unique buck. I'm going to share the videos I took of him bedded down on the end of this, and the GoPro videos that I took both from the shot and while doing the track job. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this hunting story. I know this is probably not nearly as exciting, but I like telling stories. I have since I was a kid, so I figured, what better way to do it than doing it in a interview style, where I'm just sharing the story and then sharing some videos on the end. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please take a look at the videos that come after this. That's the actual footage I have of the deer. I'll add on, some pictures from home the next morning with my kids seeing him. Unfortunately, I didn't think about it in the moment, but my oldest, I am her stepdad, so her father was bringing her by the house before the bus stop, and she got to see the buck, and I stupidly did not take any pictures of her looking at it. She was super pumped. I'm kicking myself for that now, but I did get a picture of my 2 younger ones with the buck the next morning, and surprisingly, my 5-year-old daughter is like obsessed. She thinks it's the coolest thing ever. She is begging to get out into the woods. I'm transparently, some people might disagree with that, but I'm waiting till she gets till next year. I don't think she's quite big enough to be out in the woods yet. I'm more so worried about the cold than anything. But next year I plan on getting her out. She's super pumped about it. So again, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk here, and enjoy the footage that I did get that comes after this. So thank you. saw him go down, so we're gonna go find him. Levi's getting out of the tree right now, so let's go. Here we go. Literally barely went 40 yards. Let's go, baby. Oh yeah. Look at that. Super tight rack. Some split brows. I like it. Oh, you're gonna hear in the background. Sorry, heavy ass breathing.
Yeah, I know. I can't think.
Yeah, dude, he covers almost the whole freaking wagon. That's crazy.